So, Ricardo, the series starts with the artist's first steps in the music. What are the aspects of Selena's life that the series will focus on the most?
Uh, you know, that's a good question. And from my perspective, I think the thing that we see more so than we've ever seen before is the aspect of family, specifically the Quintanilla family, and how important they were to her rise and to her success, and the success of Los Dinos también, but also how how they started from very humble beginnings, and the struggle and the adversity that they had to go through in order to achieve success.
In your opinion, what are the highlights of the series?
Again, so I think the highlights are getting a much more intimate look and portrayal of this family dynamic. It's we have a wonderful ensemble cast for the family. The five actors: Christian, Noemi, Sadie, Gabe, myself. And I think everybody has a wonderful has wonderful moments across, as their characters and as their characters relate to each other. The very cool thing though is, so it's very ensemble in its nature. We're all working together to portray this family. But the very cool thing, I think, is that when everybody's working as a unit in an ensemble, that ensemble then becomes its own character. So where we have these five characters and then together they're a family, that family then becomes its own character as they work together. And so I think that's something that you're going to see and find really unique to our series.
Gotcha. And you and Selena were born in the same year, and you're both from Texas. Have you had
Yep.
any memories of Selena, her music, and her success when you were younger?
So yeah, we were born in the same year, 4 months apart. When I was going to high school in San Antonio. I graduated in 1989 from high school. Selena graduated in 1989 from high school. I was going to college at Incarnate Word College in San Antonio. And when I was in high school and when I was in college, I, my father would pull up and pick me up from school, and he would have KCOR or KTXN or Radio Festival playing in his truck. And invariably, there would always be a Selena song popping on at some point. And you open up the pages of the paper, and I'm getting ready to go to school, and I'm reading about a concert that she did or an award that she won. So her story and the story of her success and her popularity and her music is part of the framework of my young childhood and adulthood. I absolutely understand the significance and importance of this family's story and her music and her legacy to San Antonio, to our Mexican American community over there, and specifically to our region that is South Texas.
Yeah. And how did you prepare for the role of Selena's father? Did you have a chance to work hand in hand with his family or with him?
No, I did not. I know that I'm sure that some of the family members, I'm not sure who, but they spoke with some of our writing staff and our exec producers when they were putting together the series idea and the scripts, and they took whatever information they got and threaded them into our scripts. I did not have any collaboration at all with Abraham. We did get to speak with Suzette at one point down the road via Zoom, because we were already in the midst of this pandemic. So, but early on, what I did, as I was working on my auditions, and then when I got the role, I was just looking up information and interviews of Abraham online that I could find, and I watched as many as I could. And what I saw was a lot of similarities to this 77-year-old man that I call my father, who is Mexican American and from South Texas. My father is my Mexican side, and that family of mine is from San Antonio and Eagle Pass and Del Rio and Piedras Negras and Acuña. So he's of the same generation as Abraham. A lot of my tios are of the same generation and carry themselves the same way, and there's just a lot of similarities there. So I had a lot of information and material to draw from.
Did you face any challenges when you were preparing or when you were actually playing your character?
Challenges. um Not really. I think for me, I am a very I have a tendency to let my emotions just kind of go. I can be my emotions, I wear them on my sleeve. I think sometimes my family doesn't like that too much. um, you know, and and uh and Abraham is not that way, So I know like there were some times when we were doing scenes and I would just ask the director, it's like, can I just do this one where it's like, let me just have a rehearsal where I just let all the emotions out and just do it the way I want. And then we can take it and tailor it into how Abraham would present himself in this situation. And thankfully, we had two wonderful directors in Hiromi Kamata and Katina Medina Mora, both from Mexico City, who had wonderful visions, were great leaders, and were willing to allow things like that, to let us kind of work through things, and we're open to collaboration.
Got it. And do you feel a bit of a responsibility in interpreting the father of one of the most beloved stars in the Queen of Tex-Mex?
I absolutely feel responsibility. I mean, I'm from that area. I'm from South Texas and San Antonio, and I am a Tejano. I am Mexican American. This story, when I read these scripts, there were so many things that I identified with. You know, yeah, I feel a lot of responsibility, but I don't feel pressure in that. I feel very comfortable because I know the story and I know the area, and I am part of it.
And lastly, what would you say would be your favorite Selena song?
My favorite Selena song is Como la Flor because I am very much a romantic at heart.